It was late, the kind of night where the road stretches out like a black ribbon under a moonless sky, and the only sounds are the hum of my tyres and the distant cry of some night bird. I was driving home after a long shift at the bank, my mind already drifting to tucking my kids into bed, when suddenly flashing lights pierced the darkness behind me. My heart skipped. Police! What could I have done? I pulled over, hands gripping the wheel tighter than I meant to. The officer approached, his flashlight beam cutting through the window like an accusation. "Ma'am," he said, his voice steady but edged with something darker. "Step out of the vehicle, please. We've had a tip about suspicious activity." "Suspicious? Me? I didn't understand." He gestured to the bag in my back seat, the one my sister had begged me to transport. "Are you aware of what's in this bag?" he asked, his eyes narrowing. My throat went dry. "My sister said it was just textbooks for her work. That's all I know." But even as the words left my lips, doubt flooded in. Textbooks? Why the urgency? Why the secrecy? Had they set me up, my own family? Oh God, what have I done? How did I end up here, betrayed by the people I called family? Let me take you back. You know, life wasn't always this tangled web of suspicion and heartache. Back then, I thought I had it all figured out, or at least I was trying to. I'm Sophia Miller. If you want the full name that means nothing to most folks, but everything to my two little ones. By day, I'm a supervisor at the local bank, crunching numbers, smiling through customer complaints, making sure everything adds up just right. It's steady work, the kind that pays the bills but leaves you bone-tired. And at night, well, that's when the real job starts. My kids, Lily, she's 7, with those big curious eyes, and little Max just turning 5, they're my world. I'd come home, kick off my heels and dive into dinner, baths, stories, all while pushing down that exhaustion that never quite goes away. But family, family has a way of pulling you under, doesn't it? Growing up, it was always me and Ella against the world, or so I told myself. Ella, my younger sister, the creative one, as Mom would say, with that proud gleam in her eye. Mom, Margaret, she doted on Ella like she was some fragile work of art. Me? I was the reliable one, the fixer, the one who cleaned up messes before they even hit the floor. Dad left when we were small, and then Frank came along. Our stepdad, surly as a storm cloud, detached unless he needed something fixed or funded. He'd grunt his orders and I'd jump because that's what I did, kept the peace. Even now, with Mom ailing, her health fading like an old photograph, they all lean on me, guilt me into it, really. "Sophia, you're the strong one," Mom would wheeze over the phone, her voice laced with that manipulative sweetness. "If you had a heart, you'd help your own blood without asking questions." And Ella? She's always been the dreamer, flitting from one half-baked scheme to another, borrowing money she never repays, spinning tales that twist your gut. Last time it was some art project that drained my savings. When I confronted her, she just laughed it off, her eyes flashing. "You're always trying to control everything, but you don't even know what family means," she snapped like I was the villain for wanting accountability. I tried to shrug it off, told myself it was just how we were wired. Ella the spark, me the steady flame. But deep down, it stung. Why was I always the one left holding the bag, literally and figuratively? I'd bail them out time and again. Loans for Mom's meds, rides for Ella's emergencies, even stepping in when Frank's temper flared. And appreciation, rare as rain in the desert. They'd take and I'd give, because that's what family does, right? Or so I thought. Balancing it all left me stretched thin, vulnerable in ways I didn't see coming, foreshadowing the storm, I guess. I always thought being responsible would protect me, but it made me the perfect target. You see, it's funny how the past creeps up on you, isn't it? Like shadows lengthening at dusk, reminding you of things you'd rather forget. Growing up in that cramped house on Elm Street, with its peeling wallpaper and the constant hum of tension, I was always the one patching things together. Ella, she was maybe 8 when she accidentally shattered Mum's favourite vase during one of her wild games. I remember her big eyes filling with tears as she looked at me, whispering, "Soph, fix it, please." And I did. I glued the pieces back, took the blame when Mum noticed the cracks. "Sophia's so clumsy," Mum would sigh, but Ella, she'd flash that grin and all was forgiven. They called me boring, cold even, for not joining in the chaos. Why couldn't I just let go like her? But someone had to hold it all steady. Flash forward and not much changed. Mum's illness hit hard a few years back. Cancer, the kind that lingers and drains you slow. She'd call me at all hours, her voice weak but insistent. "Sophia, darling, I need you to pick up my prescriptions. The pain's unbearable today." I'd drop everything, rush over, only to find her propped up in bed, chatting animatedly with Ella about some new scheme. Appeals for sympathy turned into demands. Money for treatments, rides to appointments, emotional labour that left me hollow. And Frank? He'd lurk in the background, grumbling about bills, expecting me to cover what he wouldn't. "Family pitches in," he'd mutter, never once thanking me. Ella's pattern. God, where do I even start? She's always been a whirlwind of irresponsibility, borrowing cash for sure things that fizzled out. Remember that time she swore she'd repay the $500 for her business startup? Months passed. Excuses piled up like autumn leaves. "I'll get it to you soon, Soph. Things are tight." Spinning stories was her art form. One week she's a budding artist, the next an entrepreneur. I'd listen, nod, hand over what I could, because Mum would chime in. "Your sister has had a hard life. You have everything, a job, kids, stability. Isn't it time you gave something back?" Her words like barbs, hooking into my guilt. In recent months, though, things shifted, subtle at first. Ella landed what she called a teaching position at some community centre. Finally something steady, or so she said. She started asking for small favours, building that trust like stacking cards. "Hey sis, can you help move some boxes and papers for my job? It's just lesson plans, nothing big." I'd hesitate, but then Mum would call, wheezing, "Do it for me, Sophia, we're family." So I did. Loaded them into my car, drove them across town, ignoring the nagging voice in my head. Why does it feel off? Why the rush? Then came the crack, the small lie that splintered everything. I overheard her on the phone one evening, laughing about how she embellished her resume for the gig. "Teaching, more like assisting, but who cares?" she said. When I confronted her later, her face twisted. "Why do you never trust me, even now?" she shot back, eyes flashing with that familiar defiance. I backed down, chalked it up to paranoia from old wounds. But doubt seeded deep, growing roots. The favours escalated. More boxes, odd errands, always with that plea of just this once. Mum's appeals amped up too, her illness a weapon she wielded without mercy. "If you don't help Ella, what kind of daughter are you?" she'd say, her voice breaking just enough to twist the knife. Looking back, I see it now. The web they wove, me at the centre, oblivious. The emotional burden, it weighed like stones in my pockets, pulling me down. But I pushed on, because admitting the truth meant shattering the illusion of family. I wanted to believe my doubts were just old wounds, but I was about to learn the price of ignoring my instincts. It started with a phone call, the kind that hits you like a cold wave, urgent, insistent, pulling you in before you can catch your breath. Ella's voice on the line was frantic, higher pitched than usual, like she was teetering on some edge I couldn't see. "Soph, I need you, right now. It's for my job, that teaching gig. There's this bag, just school stuff, lesson plans, supplies. But I can't deliver it myself, I'm swamped. Please, sis, you're the only one I trust. I paused in the kitchen, dinner half prepped, Lily tugging at my sleeve for homework help. Ella, why me? Can't you ask someone else? But I already felt that familiar tug, the one that always reeled me back. She hesitated, then her tone softened, pleading. It's nothing big, I swear. Just drop it off on your way home tomorrow. Mum's been asking about you. She'd want you to help. And then Mom got on the line. How did that happen so fast? Her voice weak from the latest round of treatments, but sharp as ever. Sophia, darling, it's for family. Just help this once. Ella's trying so hard. Frank chimed in from the background, his gruff bark cutting through. Yeah, or are you too busy for us again? You always think the worst of us. Prove you care, for once. I should have said no. God, why didn't I? But the guilt, it wrapped around me like vines tightening. My kids needed stability, and stirring up family drama would only make waves. Fine, I thought. One last favour. So, I relented. Picked up the bag from Ella's cluttered apartment the next evening. Plain black duffel, heavier than I'd expected. She hugged me tight, her eyes darting. Thanks, Soph. You're a lifesaver. Just textbooks and papers, okay? Deliver it to that address I texted. No questions. I nodded, shoved it in my trunk, and drove off into the twilight, the weight of it nagging at me like an unspoken secret. Halfway there, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Do you know what you're carrying? My stomach dropped. I glanced at it at a red light, heart pounding. Who was this? A prank? But something cold slithered down my spine. I pulled over under a street lamp, the engine idling, and stared at the bag in the back seat. Just school stuff, she said. Why the text? Why now? Panic rising like bile, I unzipped it, slowly, hands trembling. Textbooks? No. Bottles of prescription pills rattled inside. Labels I didn't recognise. Stacks of forged paperwork, IDs, receipts that looked tampered with, and worse, small baggies of what looked like... God, were those drugs? Items that didn't add up at all, screaming trouble. My mind raced, set up, blackmail. What had Ella dragged me into? I fumbled for my phone, dialed her number. It rang and rang, no answer. Voicemail. Ella, call me back now. What the hell is in this bag? Minutes ticked by, sweat beading on my forehead. Then a text from her. Don't overreact. I just need your help. Please, it's not what you think. Not what I think. I slammed the phone down, breath coming in short gasps. The kids, Lily and Max, were with the sitter, waiting for me. If this went south, if I got caught, who'd protect them? I drove on autopilot, the drop-off spot looming, a dimly lit parking lot behind some warehouse. But I couldn't do it. Turned around, headed home, the bag burning a hole in my trunk. That night, sleep evaded me, doubts swirling like storm clouds. The next morning, another call, this one from a number I didn't know. Ms. Miller, this is Detective Harlan from the precinct. We need to talk about your sister, Ella. His voice was calm, professional, but it sliced through me. She's under investigation, fraud, possibly more. That bag you were asked to deliver? It's part of it. Pills, forgeries. We got a tip. I froze, coffee mug halfway to my lips. How do you know about that? He chuckled dryly. Anonymous sources. Look, you seem like a good person, family woman, steady job. You could help your sister or save yourself. Cooperate, tell us what you know, and we can protect you. But if you don't, well, aiding and abetting isn't pretty. Cooperate. Betray Ella. But the kids, my life. Images flashed, Lily's drawings on the fridge, Max's sleepy hugs. Ella's pleas echoed, Mum's guilting, Frank's accusations. The stakes escalated with every heartbeat, my freedom, my family, hanging by a thread. Will I protect her, like always, or expose the truth and risk it all? The detective's words lingered as I hung up, staring at the bag now hidden in my closet. Ella called later, voice cracking. "Soph, whatever they say, don't listen. It's a misunderstanding, just help me fix it." But the anonymous texts kept coming. "She's using you, wake up." Tension built, relentless, like a noose tightening. I paced the living room, kids asleep upstairs, weighing it all. One wrong move and everything crumbles. Frank cornered me at Mum's house the next day, his face red. "Heard you're talking to cops. You always ruin things. Prove your family, keep your mouth shut." Mum, from her bed, tears in her eyes. "Don't tear us apart, Sophia, please." But the detective followed up. "Time's running out. Choose wisely. Stakes skyrocketing. My job on the line if this leaked. Custody battles if I got arrested." Ella's final plea text. "Sis, I love you. Don't abandon me." Abandon her or save myself? The point of no return stared back, unblinking. That's when I realised my next move could save my children or destroy everything. I sat there in the dim light of my living room, the detective's words echoing like thunder in my skull. Cooperate or save yourself. My fingers hovered over the phone, trembling. Lily and Max were upstairs, their soft breaths a reminder of what was at stake. If I protect Ella again, what happens to them? To us? No more. This ends now. I made the call. "Detective Harlan? It's Sophia. I'll do it. I'll cooperate, but you have to promise my kids stay safe." His voice was steady, reassuring in that cop way. "We'll set up a controlled meeting. You deliver the bag as planned, but we'll be there. Wire you up, keep it clean. Ella won't suspect a thing until it's too late." The next day blurred into a haze of nerves, dropping the kids at school with extra hugs, whispering, "Mommy loves you, always." At work, numbers swam on my screen, meaningless. By evening I was wired, the mic hidden under my blouse, the bag in hand. The drop-off spot, that same shadowy parking lot, now crawling with unseen eyes. Ella texted, "Be there at 8. Hand it off to my contact, easy." But it was her showing up instead, slipping from the shadows like a ghost, her face pale under the sodium lights. "Soph, you made it," she whispered, reaching for the bag, her hands shaky. That's when the sirens wailed, flashing lights exploding from everywhere, officers swarming like wolves. Ella froze, eyes wide with shock, then fury. "What the... Sophia, you did this!" They cuffed her on the spot, the bag spilling open, pills scattering like accusations, forgeries fluttering in the wind. She lunged toward me, restrained but spitting venom. "You bitch, you always ruin everything. You're not my sister, you're my enemy." Her words hit like slaps, raw and desperate, tears streaking her makeup, and then Mom and Frank arrived. How? A tip-off? Mom in her wheelchair, pushed by Frank, her face crumbling. "Sophia, how could you?" she wailed, clutching her chest like it might break her. "Betraying your own blood? After everything I've done for you?" Frank loomed, red-faced, jabbing a finger. "You've broken this family, you selfish, always playing the hero. But look what you've done. We're done with you." The confrontation erupted right there, under the glaring lights, officers holding back the chaos. Ella twisted in her cuffs, screaming, "I was just trying to get ahead, for Mum's treatments, for all of us. And you'd rather see me rot." Mum sobbed louder. "If you had any love left, you'd stop this now. Tell them it's a mistake." But as they railed, something inside me cracked open. Flashbacks hit hard, pulling me back to that childhood kitchen. Ella's messes everywhere, candy wrappers, broken toys, lies about who did what. She'd smash something, bat her lashes, and Mum would swoop in. Ella didn't mean it, dear. She's sensitive. And me, if I spoke up, but she did it on purpose, I'd be the cold one, the villain. Why must you always tell the truth like it's a weapon, Sophia? It was always her escaping blame, me painted as heartless for wanting justice. No, not this time. The depth of it, their betrayal, using my loyalty like a weapon against me. The pills weren't for teaching, they were part of Ella's scam, peddling scripts from Mum's stash, forged docs to cash in. They'd planned to pin it on, if caught, me, the reliable mule. Heartbreak burned, hot coals in my chest, but with it, release, cathartic like exhaling poison I'd held too long. I stepped forward, voice steady for the first time. This ends with me. I'm not your scapegoat anymore. Ella's eyes locked on mine, hatred twisting her features. You always were jealous, cold, controlling, Mum gasped. Sophia, please. But I turned to them all, the words pouring out. Jealous? Of what? Of being manipulated? Of carrying your weight while you drag me down? Ella, you set me up. Risked my kids for your lies. Mum tried again, guilt dripping. We're family. Forgive, like I forgave you. Maybe I am, I said, meeting Ella's glare. Maybe I am. Or maybe I'm just finally done playing your game. Frank snarled. You'll regret this, alone, with nothing. But as they hauled Ella away, officers reading rights, something lifted. Tension peaked, heartbreak raw. But I stood there, unbroken. The detective nodded, removing the wire. You did good, Miss Miller. This exposes the ring. Your sister's been enabling it, with Frank too. You're free. God, the word tasted like air after drowning. Betrayal's depth hit full force, but so did the release. No more chains. Revenge, I learned, isn't always about hurting back. Sometimes it's refusing to be hurt again. The days after, they blurred into a strange kind of fog, you know? The kind where everything feels raw and exposed, like skin after a burn. Ella faced charges, fraud, possession, intent to distribute. The detective laid it all out. Her teaching job was a front for peddling those pills, using Mum's prescriptions as a source, forging docs to launder the cash. Frank was implicated too, turning a blind eye for a cut. Mum? She got off light, her illness a shield, but the truth shattered whatever illusions remained. They cut me off cold, no calls, no visits. Publicly? Oh, they blamed me loud and clear. Whispers in our small town. Sophia turned on her own sister, heartless. Social media posts from distant relatives painting me as the destroyer. It stung like salt in fresh wounds, but it also freed something inside me. I didn't wait for the dust to settle. Packed up the house in the dead of night, me and the kids, Lily clutching her stuffed bear, Max yawning questions like, "Why are we going, Mommy?" We moved 2 towns over, a quiet little place with tree-lined streets and a park where they could run free. Changed my number, blocked the old ones. For the first time, peace settled in. Quiet evenings without the phone ringing with demands. No guilt trips echoing in my head. I'd wake up to birdsong instead of dread, brew coffee slow, watch the kids play without that constant pull from the past. Bittersweet, sure, losing family leaves holes, but filling them with calm. God, it was like breathing after years underwater. Then, about a month in, a letter arrived, forwarded from the old address, Ella's handwriting shaky on the envelope. I stared at it for hours, heart pounding. Open it? Burn it? What if it's more poison? Finally, under the kitchen light, kids asleep upstairs, I slit it open. Her words spilled out, begging, "Soph, I'm sorry. Jail's hell, but it's making me see. I used you, leaned on you too hard. Mom and Frank, they fed into it. Forgive me. We can start over. You're my sister." Forgiveness. I debated it all night. pacing the floor, tears hot on my cheeks. Part of me wanted to lash back, scream through paper how she'd risked everything, my job, my freedom, my kids' future. But as dawn crept in, realization hit soft, like morning light. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting the scars, it's about freedom for me. Not letting their shadows chain me anymore. I didn't write back, not right away. Tuck the letter away, a reminder that healing's on my terms now. The kids, they noticed the change, of course. Lily, with her wise beyond years eyes, asked one evening as we sat on the porch, fireflies dancing, "Mommy, why don't we see Aunt Ella anymore, or Grandma?" I pulled her close, Max climbing into my lap, and explained gently, words chosen like fragile glass. Sometimes family hurts us without meaning to, or maybe they do. But family isn't about blood. It's about who you choose to protect, and who protects you. Lily nodded slowly, hugging me tighter. "Like us, Mummy. We protect each other." "Exactly, sweetie, and that's enough," Max piped up. "I protect you too." His little fist pumped and we laughed, the sound light, unburdened. I found solace elsewhere, in the community I chose, not the one forced on me. Joined a book club at the library, where women shared stories over tea, no judgments. Volunteered at the kids' school, baking cookies for events, chatting with other mums who got it. The exhaustion, the quiet victories. One friend, Sarah, became like a sister, real support, no strings. We'd walk the park trails, me confiding bits of the mess, her listening without that familial twist of guilt. "You're strong," she'd say, "not cold, just wise." And in those quiet moments alone, staring at my reflection, I'd whisper to myself, "I'm not cold, I'm free." The boundaries I'd set weren't walls. They were doors, opening to a life I deserved. It wasn't perfect, nights when doubt crept in, wondering if I'd been too harsh. But closure came gradual, bittersweet, affirming what I'd always known deep down. My worth isn't tied to their approval. I protected my kids, built new roots, and let the old ones wither. Justice, it found its way, quiet and sure. Maybe justice isn't loud or cruel. Sometimes it's just finally walking away. You know, sitting here now with the quiet wrapping around me like a warm blanket, I can't help but wonder, would you forgive or would you draw the line? If it were you, faced with that betrayal, the kind that cuts to the bone, would you open the door again or lock it tight for good? It's a question that keeps me up some nights, but it's also what set me free. Have you ever had to choose peace over family? Tell your story below. In the comments, share your dilemmas, your triumphs, those moments when you said, enough. You're not alone in this. So many of us have walked that path, drawing lines in the sand to protect our hearts. If you've drawn a line for your own good, you're not alone. Like and subscribe for more stories that prove survival is its own kind of revenge. Coming up next, tales of family betrayals that twist even deeper. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss them. Thank you for listening, stay safe, and remember, your story matters.